big CNBC TV 18 exclusive. The monsoon session of the Parliament is set to kickstart from tomorrow. The government has listed some important bills for consideration and passage in the 18-day-long session. Now, this includes changes to GST laws, Insolvency Code, and the Fugitive Economic Offenders Ordinance. Now, there are some controversial issues also on the legislative agenda, like the Triple Talaq bill and the amendments to the RTI Act, which have not been made public. Rituparna Bhuyan and Parikshit Luthra have this special report on what is expected to be yet another stormy session of the Parliament.
The monsoon session begins on the 18th of July and goes on till the 10th of August. There are only 18 working days. Both the centre and the opposition will be looking to reap political dividends from this session in an election year. While the centre will be hoping that all its legislative business goes through Parliament and the session will be a smooth one, the opposition is holding strategy meetings to make sure they put up a united front in Parliament. The question is, will this session also be a washout?
सदन चले तो हर विषय उठेगा, हर विषय उठेगा तो उसका समाधान होगा। कोई प्रस्ताव विपक्ष और बाकी पार्टियां लेके आए, कोई सवाल लेके आए, हर सवाल का जवाब देने के लिए और उसके बारे में चर्चा करने के लिए, हर प्रस्ताव का सामना करने के लिए मोदी सरकार तैयार है।
हमारे 16-17 पार्टी जो भी हैं, उसमें से जो 12 पार्टी कल अटेंड हो गए थे, तो उन्होंने सभी ने ये माना है कि हम एक वोट ऑफ नो कॉन्फिडेंस लाना चाहिए। और वोट ऑफ नो कॉन्फिडेंस अगर हम प्रस्तुत करेंगे तो उसमें ये सारी चीज़ें आ जाएगी और हर आदमी, हर पार्टी, हर समस्या के ऊपर बात करेगा।
The budget session of Parliament had the worst productivity in the past 18 years, and as a result, a lot of bills have piled up, around 68 in Lok Sabha, around 40 in Rajya Sabha. Let me take you through some of the important bills that are likely to be taken up in this session of the Parliament. Firstly, of course, you have two ordinances. Firstly, it is the Fugitive Economic Offenders Ordinance, through which any person committing a crime in excess of 100 crore rupees in terms of an economic offence, that person's property could be confiscated. The second ordinance is the IBC-related amendments. Amongst other things, this ordinance ensured that home buyers get the same status as financial creditors. Last but not the least, you can also expect amendments to GST-related laws. According to sources, around a dozen amendments in GST laws are expected. Finance Secretary Hasmukh Adia spoke to us about some of these proposed changes in legislation that could be taken up. Listen in.
Ultimately, the solution seems to be, which has been presented to me by the Officers Committee, that we have a centralized appellate authority.
Okay.
So that can have multiple benches also if need be. But when there are two disputes, there are two different verdicts by two different advanced authority, then it can go to the appellate authority and appellate authority can solve it.
And how soon can we expect the appellate authority
to be come along with the other legal changes which we are planning to bring to the council and to the legislature. There are certain legislative changes which are required in the law, and this would be one of them.
What would be the other legislative amendments that you're moving to the GST Council?
There are some small changes required in the legislation in order to remove certain difficulty, and most of them are for facilitation of taxpayer. Most of them are only for that.
The government will be trying to push the Triple Talaq bill once again to show its commitment to Muslim women in the country. The opposition in turn will try and corner the government on the Women's Reservation Bill and the proposed RTI amendment as well. The Congress party, for one, has been saying that the government is trying to dilute the provisions of the RTI Act in a rather suspicious manner without consulting the opposition or members of the public.
There is a pre-legislative consultation policy of the central government which was passed in 2014, under which the government is supposed to put out information about proposed legislation, about proposed amendments to legislation for at least a period of 30 days and seek public consultation before the bill is sent to cabinet and it becomes privileged information. So all of that process has been overridden. The government hasn't followed it.
The monsoon session will also see several non-legislative issues that will be taken up, which includes electing a deputy speaker for Rajya Sabha in place of PJ Kurian, whose tenure got over earlier this month. In addition to that, you have TDP, which is expected to raise the issue of granting special status to Andhra Pradesh. In fact, the party is planning to move a no-confidence motion against the Modi government and has been in dialogue with several non-BJP parties to gather support for this motion.